Hey everybody, Pastor Kurt from Lost Sheep Ministries here today. It's Wednesday afternoon. It's been a very rainy couple days and it's supposed to be rainy a couple more days. Today, I'm going to do this a little differently. And I'm also going to explain some things about my videos. Since I'm doing this off my phone, sometimes it looks like I'm moving in and out, and that's just my camera focusing in and on me. So if it's a little distracting, I'm sorry. There's not much I can do about that. My hair, there's not much I can do about that either, since the barbershops have just opened up and they're backed up for over a week. But on that note, today, what I'm going to be talking about is something that's very near and dear to me. And I'm talking to you as Kurt. Not as Pastor Kurt, not as anything else, but as Kurt. 10 years ago, 2020 is a very strange year, first of all, let me say that. We have had some major things happen, and we're all going through these circumstances that we have never pretty much in our lives had to deal with. I'm not saying that we haven't had things that have happened in our lives that we've dealt with, but nothing to this extreme where we have been stuck in houses for months at a time, and just not having a job for people, and not knowing what's going to happen. And it's been very, very strange. But this is also, for me, this is also a milestone year for me, because 10 years ago is when I was so broken, so down, that I almost ended my life. And if it hadn't been for God, I wouldn't be here right now. Let me say that over the past 10 years, God has worked on me and through me and with me for so many things. I mean, the amount of things that have happened in my life in the past 10 years is just unbelievable to me. I'm in awe. And I don't think it's done yet. God's not done. And that's one thing that I want to say to everybody out there is God's not done with you. Remember that. God's not done with you. It might feel like He's distant from you, but I don't think that that's the problem. I think it's more us being distant from Him. So anyway, 10 years ago, between 2009 2010, I was at a point where I didn't have a whole lot going on for me. I had forsaken my family, my friends, God. My best friend back then was a crack pipe and the world. Those were the two things that I cared the most about. It wasn't about family or friends or anything else. And I turned my back on them, on everybody, on God, everybody. I just turned my back and didn't care. I didn't care about me. I didn't care about anybody else. All I cared about was where was I going to get that next hit from. And that was a very, very tough time in my life. I was becoming more and more distant. I mean, I have lived on the streets. I have done a lot of things, but at that point, beginning 2010, I was at the very doorsteps of death. I always like to look at it as God is writing a book through you. You know, He's making you a book. And depending on certain things is how many chapters you're going to have in that book. Now, He's already determined that. But there's also that free will that I believe in, and I think that we sometimes determine certain things as well. Not that He's going to let them happen if He doesn't want them to happen. And for me, 10 years ago, He didn't want that book to end. Now, the devil did. Boy, he was pushing me. He was pushing me and pushing me to just end it all. And it was at a point where I was ready to do that, but God didn't let that happen. He took a broken, just shattered pieces of pottery. That's all I was just shattered all over the place. And he started picking it up and putting it back together. And it was, it's been an amazing time. And I don't know how many of you are going through something, but I know a lot of you are, because I get messages, and those people, this is what it's about. Okay, God's gonna pick you up. He doesn't want you. He wants you first of all. You've got to be able to surrender everything to Him, and that's where I was. I had to surrender. I had to be so broken, so I wasn't anything. I was less than anything at that point. I was ready to end it. I was ready to just say, screw this, I'm done. But God wasn't. He showed me what unconditional love, unconditional mercy, and unconditional forgiveness is all about. And I'm telling you, it is very, very humbling when you're at that point and then God pulls you through it. Because there was no way I was pulling myself up. No way at all. There was nothing that I was going to do that I was going to change my ways. That's why I was ready to quit. I was ready to quit. But God wasn't ready for me to quit. And over that period of time, from this 10-year anniversary, He has written stories in my life that I just never thought that could happen. I have, my family is back in my life, my friends, the ones that were there, that knew me before and knew me now. Wow, it's amazing. People that God has put in my path, that I'm able to witness to testify about God and His glory. That's all it's about. It's His glory, not me. So anytime that you think that I'm talking, to show how good I am, there's nothing good about me. There is nothing good except for one, and that is God. Now, He's working a goodness in us. He's working Christ through us. But we have to be willing. We have to be willing to let Him bandage up our wounds. We have to allow Him to take that clay and remold that pottery that's inside of us, our hearts, taking the chisel and breaking away the bad parts of it. And that's what He's done to me over the past 10 years. He's put people in my life. Oh, my beautiful wife. Without her, this would be just a typical journey. I mean, I'm pretty outgoing, but with her in my life, it's just another one of those things God has put in front of me that is willing to work with me, and we're working an awesome chapter to this book. Like I said, that none of this is possible without God. And the more that you think about what God is doing in your life, it makes this year not so bad. I mean, yeah, there are things that are going on, and you might feel very, just hurt by them. But God's working it. God is working through you. And it's amazing what He can do for you. I think that's about it. Like I said, the things that have gone on in my life and what He has done for me, I just can't stop thanking Him enough for, and to show Him the glory of what He has done. It's amazing. And I pray that each and every one of you get to feel that love that He has. I hope that you feel it through some of the things that we talk about, and just continue on in your life. But remember that He can chisel away the old. He can fix the pottery that might be chipped, and He can heal those wounds if you allow Him. But you've got to be willing to break down and to be totally broken so He can build you back up. Now I'm going to leave you with a verse that really just kind of sums everything up together for me, and it's Romans 5:8. But God demonstrates His own love toward us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Christ died for us while we were still sinners. That's that unconditional love. And that's the thing that we have to start showing as well. Well, I said that's what I was going to end with, but you know, God gives us an unconditional love. Why don't we unconditionally love those that might have done us wrong? You know, don't turn your back on people. You know, if they've hurt you, well, forgive them and love them and continue to love them. Show them the mercy and the grace that God has shown to you. That's the three things that I want to leave with you: mercy, grace, and love. Show that to everybody else. Well, that's my thing for today. I love you all, and we'll see you later. Pastor Kurt saying, see ya.